Yeah, welcome back viewers and subscribers. As we get ready for another weekend of Premier League football, the third weekend of the season. Already lots of predictions going on based on what we have seen so far. We've seen quite a few upsets. We have seen a few dominant performances from, those expected. And we have seen some below par performances from some of those expected to take the fight to Man City this season. But anyways, just gonna jump real quick into the games this weekend with some predictions and previews. So here goes. First game on Saturday will be Spurs hosting Wolves. Home game for Spurs. They came away with a hard-fought point against Chelsea last weekend. There was some refereeing mistakes in that game. Mike Dean came out and admitted to making a few mistakes in that, and ended up costing Chelsea. But Tottenham won't mind that. They came away with a point. They will be missing their coach, who will be serving I think it's a one-match ban. So his assistant will be on the touchlines tomorrow. But previous games, even just last season, neither team could come out on top of the other. Spurs won away at Molineux, and Wolves did the same when they played at the Tottenham Stadium. They played again in the cup game, and that game ended in a 2-2 draw. So, for the past few seasons, it's been kind of hard to pick between these two teams, as they have struggled. Both have struggled to dominate home field advantage, thus them sharing the points over the past 2 to 3 seasons between each other. I would predict a Tottenham win for this game tomorrow. I can't see them playing as poorly as they played against Chelsea last weekend. And Wolves are still trying to put their team together. So I can see Tottenham coming out with a 2-1 victory in that game. Moving on, Crystal Palace hosts Villa. And Palace will be looking for their first victory of the new season. They got a hard-fought point against Liverpool. Should have been a victory for them. They played Arsenal very hard as well, but were unfortunate to come out losers in that game. So I can see them beating Villa in this game. Villa has gotten points already, but they have not lived up to expectations so far. They're not playing at their best. People like Philip Coutinho has been missing in games. So I can see Crystal Palace coming away with a 2-0 victory in this one. Next on the list, we got Everton versus Forest. Not much to talk about there. Forest is actually above expectations right now. They're punching above their weight. Everton playing like I expected them to play, because they have lost a key player in Richarlison. Their other striker, Calvert-Lewin, is out injured, and they have not strengthened the team. Well, they brought in Onana last week, and he got a few minutes over the weekend. He should be starting tomorrow. But Forest, apart from Man City and Arsenal, are the biggest spenders so far in the league, and they've even gone out this week and added to their squad. So I'm expecting them to pull off an upset at Goodison Park and beat Everton. Moving on, a mini London derby, Fulham versus Brentford. Two teams playing exciting football. They're somewhat of minnows, but the football they're playing right now is, Man U fans would envy them right now. Just say no shots at Man U fans, but or at the team itself. But That's just how well Fulham and Brentford are playing right now. This is a tough one to call. I can see it ending in a draw, and both teams like to score. So I'm gonna go with a 3-3 draw for this one. Moving on, Leicester versus Southampton. Neither team have really hit the ground yet running. Leicester, they were pretty decent against Arsenal, but nothing to write home about. Southampton, the same. They were lucky to, well, not gonna say lucky, but they pulled off a late draw against Leeds last weekend. That game ended 2-2. So it's kind of hard to pick this one as well. So I'm just gonna hedge my bet. Leicester, Southampton, another 2-2 draw in this game. Bournemouth, the late game of the day, they host Arsenal, and Arsenal are riding high right now. Bournemouth, coached by Scotty Parker, they're playing pretty decent football. Not a lot of big names in their squad, but they're doing their thing. Arsenal, on the other hand, have surprised a few people, even though some will say that the teams that they beat, they're supposed to beat. But they have started on a really good momentum so far in the season and are flying pretty high. I know it's just 2 games in, but the momentum and the attitude around the team right now is pretty high. They're playing well motivated. Gotta give credit to their coach Mikel Arteta. He's doing his thing. Seems like he got the squad that he wanted, and they're playing how he wants them to play right now. So I can see Arsenal going down to Bournemouth and coming away with all 3 points, but there is still question marks between defense and goalkeeping, especially from what you saw against Leicester. So I'm gonna go with a 3-1 victory for Arsenal. I don't see them keeping a clean sheet tomorrow. Moving on to Sunday's game, Leeds versus Chelsea. Chelsea were coming off that disappointment last week. They felt, or should feel, a bit hard done by the refereeing decisions. So they will be going into that game without their manager as well, who will be serving suspension for late game activities between himself and Conte last week. Leeds are also playing pretty good, but they will be also disappointed. They snatched a draw from the jaws of victory last weekend. They were leading Southampton 2-0 at halftime away from home and managed somehow to give up that lead. Only came away with a point. They're playing pretty good, but Chelsea is the stronger team currently. And they're playing based on how they played last week, and if things go in their favor on Sunday, I can see them coming away with a rather easy victory. Leeds, though, is hard to keep them off the score sheet, so I would say Chelsea 3, Leeds 2. West Ham and Brighton. Brighton somewhat of a surprise package so far. Well, to some people at least, for those of us who know their coach, he's a very, 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 very technical coach, and they're playing some really good football. West Ham haven't gotten the start that was expected of them, so they're hosting Brighton tomorrow. I see Brighton controlling that game. Now, will they be able to find the goals needed? Their striker hasn't been their provider of goals so far, but they have gotten goals from the midfield. Danny Welbeck, that is. But West Ham still has a pretty solid team, so I don't expect Brighton to go in there tomorrow and Sunday and get the victory that they so want. But I don't expect West Ham to beat them either, so I'm gonna go with a 1-1 scoreline, West Ham versus Brighton. And the final game of Sunday, the Money Wars. Newcastle hosting Manchester City. The richest teams in the world right now, 2 richest teams, square off. Newcastle haven't really done the high spending like the PSGs, Cities and Chelsea's did when they got that big money owner, but they're taking their time building their team. and they have a pretty solid squad up there. But City are on a high right now. You know, all the players are playing extremely motivated, which most times City players do. It's gonna be hard for Newcastle to hold them off, but Newcastle have weapons of their own that they can at least pull out something. But you're not gonna keep that City team from scoring. So Newcastle will have to find a way to find goals, which they have a few goals in their team, but they're more of a hard-working team right now. So my prediction for this game is City 3, Newcastle 1. And the final game of the weekend, well, this will be the beginning of the week, Super Monday. Manchester United hosts Liverpool in a relegation battle. Now, these are the two most highly decorated teams in England. So to hear that both teams are at the lower end of the table, so it comes as somewhat of a surprise, but that's the way it is right now. Man U sitting pointless, Liverpool on 2 points from their 2 drawn games. Man U could actually pass them on Monday, but both teams are somewhat thin right now. Liverpool kind of depleted in midfield and defense. They're gonna be missing their new signing up front, Darwin Núñez. Jota is still out injured, but they have the likes of Firmino will be returning, Salah is fit, and Diaz is fit, so they have enough firepower up front. Man U, on the other hand, their defense is kind of shaky. Their new signing, Lisandro Martinez, hasn't adapted to life in the Premier League too well as yet, so that's gonna be a tough outing for him on Monday, going up against this Liverpool front line if he starts. They have Varane on the bench. I think Lindelof is still injured, so we could see Varane and Maguire starting on Monday. Up front for Man U, Cristiano Ronaldo is still one of the greatest players ever, and he's still on their team. They actually signed Casemiro as well, but I doubt he will be ready for Monday's game because he wouldn't have any training sessions under his belt. So don't expect him to be in that midfield, but should be a good midfield battle because, like I said, Liverpool is depleted right now through injuries. Man U's midfield isn't the most outstanding right now, so it will be a good midfield battle. But with the firepower that Liverpool has, if they get the start that they need, things could really look bad for Man U. But I'm gonna go with a 3-1 victory for Liverpool in this game. Alright, so that's it for preview of this weekend's games. My predictions, don't think I will get all of them right. Hopefully some of them I don't get right, but judging from my mind and not my heart, I think most of those predictions should be spot on. Anyways, that's all I have time for today. Thanks a lot for tuning in. Until next time, continue to like, subscribe, and share. Stay safe. Enjoy your weekend football. Peace.